want to go home. Mom, you are home. You live here. No, this isn't my house. I want to go home. Mom, I told you 5 times now. You are home. You and Dad moved here 50 years ago, right after you got married. No, this isn't my house. I want to go home. Take me home. And on it goes until you want to scream. The classic middle stage dementia dialogue. So common that when I worked as a caregiver in England, I had this little daydream. I should start a want to go home jar. Every time a client said, I want to go home, drop £1 in. I would have been a very wealthy woman in a very short time. Well, I'm joking, but the reality of it is no joke at all. Wanting to go home is one of the most draining things a caregiver goes through. So, how do you respond to someone who wants to go home when they are sitting in their own armchair in the house they have been living in for 52 years? Let me walk you through what's actually going on here. Because once you see it and understand it, the whole thing gets easier to carry. You need to understand how the brain works. First, the brain's main job is your survival. I hear you saying, that's not true, Zita. The number one job of the brain is to keep me happy. No, it's not. It's to keep you alive and safe. There's even a little monkey in there for the job. It's called the amygdala. And it sits there all day, every day, watching for danger. The slightest hint of a threat, and the monkey starts jumping up and down, screaming at the rest of the brain, danger. And that's when your heart starts pounding. Your thinking narrows. Fight or flight kicks in. Because the brain is hardwired to keep you safe, and that overrides everything else. And this drive runs so deep that even dementia can't grind it down. The second thing is safety is built on familiarity. We feel safe in what we know. You see this in everyday life without even noticing. You sit in the same chair in the company canteen if you can. You like to park in the same spot. And when someone takes your spot, that little flash of irritation, that was mine. Why? Because the brain's routine got disrupted. I want to insert a quick sidebar here. This search for the familiar shows up everywhere. One place it shows up is how we choose partners. In my language, we have a saying, you marry your parents. And there's actually a neurological truth to that. We are drawn unconsciously to the psychological climate we grew up in because familiar equals safe. Even if that family wasn't healthy, even if there was addiction in the house, for example, an adult might keep choosing partners with the same issues. Not because it's good for them, because it's familiar. We choose the familiar bad over what's good for us. That's how strong the wire for familiarity is in the brain. Now back to dementia. Dementia can't erase this deep need for the familiar. If anything, it sharpens it. The declining brain flags anything new as dangerous. Ever tried to negotiate with your elderly mom about removing the carpet she keeps tripping on? Oh no, you can't. That carpet has been there since I met James in 1952. The third piece is time, the thing that falls apart in dementia entirely. You have probably noticed that your loved one's sense of time is crumbling. Yesterday, tomorrow, 2 days from now, 6 o'clock, these don't really exist anymore. And here's the thing, we don't have an organ for time. We have ears for sound, nose for smell, eyes for light, but no time organ. What we do have, though, is an internal compass that places us inside the day, the year, and in general in our life. Now, in dementia, that compass is destroyed. And that's when the world stops feeling safe. Monday and 2 o'clock have lost their meaning, and so have places, faces, the house, anything in the physical world. But the emotional memories, those are still there, not tied to years or days, tied to how things felt. Mom's presence, dad's voice, the siblings around the table, the dog at the feet, the safe, familiar, stored deep in the layers dementia can't reach. Let's stitch the equation together. Your mom looks around the living room. She sees unfamiliar people who may actually be her family. She sees an unfamiliar place, which is actually the home she's lived in for 50 years. Time is lost. Monday, Tuesday, this year, last year, gone. Then she glances at the mirror and there's an old, wrinkly woman looking back. That's not me. She doesn't even resemble me. What's all this? And her declining brain does what brains do. It starts reaching desperately for something safe, something familiar. And the deepest, more hardwired, safe, and familiar of them is home. That's when the bizarre dialogue begins. I want to go home. And what does she get back? Annoyed sighs, shoulders shrugged, eyes rolled. Mom, you are home. So she says it again and again. The never ending loop begins. So now the loving son does the obvious thing. He puts mom in the car, drives her home, literally to the very house. And mom stands in front of the house and says, I want to go home. Now, the son stands there. Now what? I can't take mom home more than this. And he's right. You really can't take mom home more than this. Not in the physical world. Emphasis on physical. Because home isn't a place, it's a feeling. And you can't transport someone to a feeling in the back of a Ford Focus. Wanting to go home has variants. It often shows up as asking for parents who have been dead for decades. Where is mom? When is dad coming? Don't tell them the truth. I know that sounds wrong, but if you say, Mom died 40 years ago, your loved one will experience that grief as if for the first time. The shock, the agony. And because of the memory loss, an hour later, they will ask again and live through the grief again and again. So we fib, therapeutically. We say something like, she's not here right now, but she will be back later. Respond to the emotion underneath, the need for a mother's safety, not the literal question. A bit of fibbing in the interest of both of you doesn't hurt. Let's see what else can help. First, stop arguing. You are home doesn't work. You are answering the question when they're asking a feeling. So you acknowledge that feeling. Instead of correcting, say, oh, Mom, you miss that old house, don't you? It was a lovely place. You're not lying with this. You are meeting her where she actually is. And then you redirect. Come to the kitchen. Let's have a cup of tea. You can tell me more about the house there. Give her brain somewhere else to go. Kick it out of that loop. And then there's the walk trick. Sometimes you take her home. Put your coats on, walk to the end of the street together, and by the time you turn around, if you're lucky, the loop has reset itself. And one last thing. In your mom's reality, it's 1942. Here and now, she's lost in a foreign country. And your frustration is a signal that she reads perfectly, even when she can't read anything else. And it makes her feel less safe, which makes her feel say it louder. I want to go home. Bizarre, isn't it? Yes, it is. Dementia is a very bizarre disease. The good news is this particular symptom usually passes as the disease progresses. The not so good news is that new ones will come and take its place, and each one will have its own challenge. I'd love to say, just joking, but I can't. That's reality. That's why I put together a guide called Dementia Situation Handbook, full of real scenarios with real responses you can use tonight. Link in the description. If this video helped you, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.